Hello. Hello, everybody. God, what is going on with that? Jeez, nice little piece of hair just sort of float. This is the vanity section of the show. Let's all check our hair. That's all I got anyway. Can't grow a beard. I'm going to bring Kyle on. Surprise.
No, but enough about my hair. What about your hair?
Oh my God. All right. So everybody welcome Kyle. He and I have known each other for over 25 years. He is now joining the little indie agency news gaggle of folks. So Kyle, welcome.
Why, it's great to be welcomed here. Thank you.
Okay. That's all you get right now. So you just hang out backstage. Okay. That's all right. So no, I'm really excited to have Kyle joining us, along with Shannon Miller, who helps out, along with Jessica Ferris, who helps out. We got big plans, so we're excited about all of this. A reminder that the brief is to build the global home for independent agencies. The mission is to serve independent agencies and the brilliant people behind them. The goal is more visibility for indies and more choice for marketers. Go to indieagency.news for more information. The big things we have going on right now, a reminder that we have the way we do our awards is top 40. So Kyle and I were in radio, so of course it is. So design. No categories, but if it's plausibly designed, it counts. So UX, CX, production design. I love production design, by the way. So just anything related to design. And people ask, well, why are you doing design? You're a copywriter. And that's exactly it. Because design to me is still where there is a huge place of wonder in this industry. I look at designers, see what they do, and go, how on earth did you even think of that? So designers, and especially indie designers and indie agency designers, deserve that shine. If you are an indie agency news member, get in touch with us so you can get your 25% discount on entries. I want to bring Travis Reeb in first. Travis, co-founder of Good Conduct in Denver. And that's Denver's a hometown, sort of for me, because I went to the University of Denver back in the day. How old were you in 1991? Were you even born yet?
Me? Yeah, I was 9.
Fucker. The language. So here's the thing is that this time last year we had around 50 members, agency members, and now we are over 200. We're super proud of how we're growing, but we always want to make sure that we're recognizing some of our OGs. And y'all stuck with us early as we were trying to figure a lot of things out. And the beautiful thing too is in Denver and Boulder, we have a ton of agency members in Denver and Boulder. And Travis, talk a little bit about the Denver and Boulder ad communities, because it is unique. I mean, it's definitely unique and very cohesive too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun little creative world here in Colorado. And I think Crispin,
sure,
put us all on the map back in 08, 09 as an ad community. And, a bunch of people moved here from Miami and then came here from LA and all the other different places, and then realized Colorado is just an amazing place to live. And advertising can be a strenuous, industry and hardworking industry. And so why not love the place that you live? And
right.
So because of that, I feel like Denver just exploded into a advertising community, and the city itself is just booming. So right. It's a great place.
Yeah, that's cool. But honestly, seriously, I cannot thank you enough for being one of our earlier members, because it's just the thing that we tell people is a couple of things. Number one, we don't care where you get visibility as long as you get it. So that's where the consulting pieces come in. We have 15-minute consulting sprints for our members around visibility. This is a visibility platform. And, I love the fact that you tap into that all the time, which is great, because again, we really want that. The other side of this is that this is the members platform, and we're here to shepherd some things along. So me, Kyle, Jess, and Shannon are here to shepherd it along. We have some ideas about how we can raise visibility, because ultimately we want marketers to be looking at this and saying, I had no idea any of these agencies existed, and I need to get to know them. And that's part of it too, is that we really want to, the word home in the brief is really, really important. So this is a clearly defined home for indies. So I want to thank you so much for all of the support. And I love the fact that you're helping shape this as well, because you have strong opinions about things. And it helps us. Honestly, it helps us, because we're going, and you're a big proponent of, what about this? What about that? What about that? And I love that spitballing part. So this is the Travis Reed Appreciation Society meeting. So Travis, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you too. I mean, you're giving voices to small agencies that get lost with, big budgets and big media and all that type of stuff. And you let us, get our voices out there so that people can find, where the real creativity lies.
Amen, brother. Amen. All right. So I'm going to bring in our other two guests today. We are talking about RFPs. So John and Leslie joining us. So here's the thing. I just want to set this up. So I am here simply to pass the torch on so that John, Travis, and Leslie can have this conversation. The premise of this is indie debate. So we sort of asked backwards into a little piece of content that I think that we'll build off of. So indie debate will definitely be a thing. So thank you to John, Travis, and Leslie for helping me on that. But ultimately, I want to hand it over to John. John, thank you so much for your support. You just became a new member, so welcome to the Indie Hood. And I want to pass it off to you, because the RFP debate. Whew. All right. Yeah. John, take it away, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, it's spicy. Yeah, we're going to wrestle today on this call. We're going to argue about what we should do and go from there. So thank you, Doug. Thanks for setting this up. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Leslie, for being part of this. Let's dive in. Nobody wants to hear a lot of hoo-ha on these things. Let's get into the meat, the hamburger, and just start
Sounds
eating.
Good.
So RFPs, requests for proposals. It's when a brand gives potential partners an opportunity to kind of show their stuff. It's an opportunity to pitch. For indies like us, should we play the RFP game or not? And Travis, you're an OG, so I'm going to start with you. What's the one word that describes your point of view on this whole thing? And then explain a little bit about why.
Yeah, I mean, at Good Conduct, our point of view, one word, is fight. And the reason why is, we feel like our ideas can compete with anyone in the world, anyone in the country. And no one's going to really see that, though, unless we prove it out. As a small agency, we might not have celebrity creativity or celebrity creative talent that everyone knows because they got written about in Adweek, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or anything like that. But we need to get our name out there. We need to show that our creativity can compete with anyone else. And, at the end of the day, our belief is David didn't beat Goliath by skipping the fight. He stepped up, joined the fight, and then became king. So maybe one day we can become king or something.
Wow, a biblical reference this early in the call. I love it, my friend. Okay, so fight is yours. Get in the game. Yep. Leslie, what about you? What's your word and why?
I've got two words. I'm sorry. I'm already breaking the rules. We are very much conscientious objectors. When we get an RFP, we understand that they are asking for free work, because that's kind of how this whole industry has set it up. We are not going to give you free work, but we understand the position that you are in and what you're asking for. And so we're going to approach this in a way where, Super Fantastica was kind of built on this notion of we want to make great work without all the bullshit. And honestly, a bunch of free work is a little bit of bullshit. I think I was given free rein to cuss, so I'm using it. And so what we want to do is explain to you how we think. We'll give you a little tease of how our approach would be. We're not opposed to giving a bit of a mood board or something like that, but we're not going to answer it straight out with free work that, quite frankly, we can't afford, nor do we have the time to give up.
Love it. Conscientious objectors. I love it. Please cuss. We're all grown-ups here. Doug is weighing in from beyond. Cool. I'm going to do our word too for Agency SOS. And our word is compensation. I have this radical idea that agencies should get paid for the work that we do. And I know spec pitches have been part of Adland's heyday forever, but so were AORs and 18% media commissions and healthcare that you didn't have to do a copay for. I mean, the world is different now. And our point of view is if it's just about presenting creds or filling out an RFP questionnaire, we're happy to do that. But as soon as it turns into an ask to deliver the thing, the service, the thinking, the strategy, the creative ideas, that's the hamburger. That's the thing we sell. So we're not going to give that away for free. So we want to get paid for that. And so I think, so if Leslie is a conscientious objector and I want to get paid, Travis, you're saying fight. You're saying get in there, bare knuckle it. You don't seem to have the same qualms about getting paid or not. Why not?
Well, I mean, we would love to get paid. And,
yeah, let's be clear. I think all of us would love to get paid.
Yeah. And so, if there's a paid pitch, that's one of the questions we always ask. Is this paid? Is this not paid? And then, if it's a paid pitch and the opportunity feels right, we're in, 100%, no qualms about that. But if it's an unpaid pitch, then, we put it through a different level of thinking of, okay, is this a right opportunity? Do we have a chance that we think we can win? Are these clients good humans? Are they willing to create differentiated work and breakthrough work? And if it fits through that lens for us, then we're down to play. And I think it kind of comes back to the point of we're not some celebrity agency that sing in the wings. We're not Leonardo DiCaprio. You don't ask Leo to do a table read or an audition for a part. You just give him the part. We're not at that stage yet as an agency, and there are some agencies that I think are at that spot. And so for us to get ourselves into the fight, we're willing to put our work out there and show, hey, we're actually a legit consideration for you guys. And even though we may not win that one, we're going to be on their radar. They're going to get a new job in a year or two. They're going to move somewhere else. And if we've done our job well, just within the pitch, ideally we win, move that way. But our name's going to start to percolate out there and get new opportunities as well.
Got it. So Leslie, the whole kind of RFP game was sort of set up in an era when it was really all big agencies that kind of had the muscle and the bandwidth. I mean, one of the reasons they can do these pitches is because they have a lot of capacity. They have people that maybe aren't on a project that they can apply to that. In our world, we run a little bit more lean and mean. We don't have people that are sitting around not doing work that isn't getting paid for. I mean, how can we as indie agencies sort of rewrite the rules and be that conscientious objector that finds an alternative path to winning new business?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to ask whoever it is that you're pitching with why they're considering an indie agency. Ask them, why are you, if you're going up against, the giant one and you're sort of the small one on the edge of maybe they want an indie, anything you can do to sort of intuit why you're in the mix and why this game is sort of being played out. It might be that you know somebody. It might be that they've seen some of your work and just realized you were indie from there. So I think it's really, and I've worked on the other side of this game too, where I've been in-house. And the way that I had my own set of criteria for choosing agencies beyond free work, because I was like, I'm not going to make them do a bunch of free work, but I want to know how they think. And so I think understanding why you're interested in indie agency sort of opens up a conversation as to why you can explain to them, okay, I can't give you free work, but let's talk about what you're interested. Let's talk about what inspired you to give us this shot or to give to make this part of the group. Why are you looking at big agencies versus smaller agencies so that you can start to, and I think that happens in that first kind of question and answer session where you start to understand, okay, we can direct this and set ourselves up in a way to be competitive based simply on what we know is a drag about a giant agency.
I love that. I think that part that you're mentioning is so important, explaining why maybe we're not going to play by the big boy rules.
Yeah.
And a lot of those initial conversations that we have with folks is just sort of saying, hey, listen, this is our model. This is how we do things. And this is why we don't do the unpaid pitch. We had a thing when we first opened Agency SOS that we called 10, 10, 10, 10 ideas for 10 days for 10 grand. And so it was a way to at least have a conversation with folks like, hey, we would love to get in the game and play and show you what we've got, but we don't eat if we don't get paid. And so we were like, we're happy to bring in some of our best thinkers, but we don't ask folks to work for free. And so if you just put a little skin in the game, we'll give you some great ideas for that time and a short turnaround so that we're not wasting a ton of time, but we get a little something for that. So that was our way of trying to like change the conversation and change the rules from the traditional system.
I guess to some of that though, one of the questions I would ask is, did big agencies and big brands write those rules? Or is it really just kind of byproduct of like a free market economy that we have in the US? Like, for example, like if we go to buy a car, we're not just going to trust the sales guy as much as the sales guy would like us to trust him on it, or just like the pictures they show, we're going to go drive that car and probably drive a couple other cars too, to see what's feeling right for us. And I know some of that can be solved in like a chemistry session, but when it comes to creativity, especially when you're talking about smaller agencies, indie agencies who have a lot of work, but they've also worked at a lot of big places. I think being able to showcase that work out in the world, or showcase that work in a pitch, gives you that opportunity to win something bigger, but then also showcases that your past work, whether it's at your own agency or in your past life, was you, and that thinking and that smart thinking actually can break through in a different way that the clients maybe haven't thought about.
Yeah, but Travis, when you go to the dealership, they don't give you the car and let you just drive it for as long as you want. And then if you like it, just let you keep it. That's what happens in pitches all the time. You present work for free and then you don't get a dime for it. And then a year later, you see some version of that work that they did with another agency or their in-house agency. How do we protect ourselves? If you do play the game, how do you protect your IP and avoid getting taken advantage of? Leslie?
I mean, listen, I think if anybody has been in this industry for any period of time, you've had something stolen, or you have pitched something and then later on you see it and you're like, maybe someone else came up with that idea, but I'm pretty sure that came from our pitch deck. Like, that happens across the board. So is it going to happen? Probably. I don't know how you protect yourself from it unless you don't give it away, because there's plenty of people that are going to be out there, and everyone says there are no new ideas anyway. So they're going to say, I could have easily had that idea too. So I think short of not giving it away, you're putting yourself out there.
Travis, what about you? How do you avoid getting taken advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, I think two parts to it. One, we include like the standard little language within our decks, confidential, and little boilerplates that we include in the last page of the deck on that. Or if there's an upfront agreement for the RFP, even though it's not a paid one, that we still own our ideas. And I think like the perspective that we have on it is that with AI and influencers and pretty much anyone with a phone, people are getting free ideas left and right. And as agencies, we're trying to get paid for those ideas and make them, actually strategic and work hard for a business versus a flash in the pan. And so if they're already getting filtered through with all these other ideas, we may as well get our smart one in the mix. And that's why we're more open to pitching that there. And I think the last thing is we kind of just assume that people are good people, and that's naive, and we've been burned on that for sure. However, I think life's a little rosier when you're assuming the good out of people and building that trust and building that like long-term relationship with it.
Yeah, totally fair. Go ahead, Leslie.
Yeah, no, I think it's funny because when we were talking about this and you said the one word, part of me almost wanted to say human is our approach to it. In that, let's have some real conversations with clients that where we recognize someone's putting in the work, someone's handing, there's this exchange of information. I think there was a real time, maybe 10, 15 years ago where this whole experience was sort of dehumanized, like this overlord and service and give me the best ideas. Have you won enough awards to be here to play this game? Like it felt like there wasn't a real conversation. And I know on client side, a lot of people are really frustrated with that, with the egos and with this lack of engagement. So I don't know. I feel like we can be humans and have conversations with one another. We're all trying to, make great work. We're all trying to do cool shit. Like, how do we have a real conversation of like, this is what we can do. This is what we can't do. We can show you how we think. We can show you the history of our great ideas and our beautiful design. And if you don't trust that process, then, have fun on Chat GPT. I don't know.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean, I think getting paid is one of the ways we avoid the IP question. And, we have, Travis, I'm sure your standard boilerplate contract is the same as mine, is the same as Leslie's, but we also don't have a million lawyers to go fight the brand when they break the contract. So it's a little bit of a paper tiger. Like, are we going to sue them if they do our idea a year later? Probably not. Right. And so to me, it's like getting paid is once you pay for it, it's yours. So pay us for the ideas, then you can do whatever you want with it.
Right.
And so to me, it's just a way of protecting yourselves. So, all right, we got a question. There's been an over commoditization of creativity, especially when it comes to pitching. How do we get back to the world truly valuing the creative product we put out? Preach, Carlos. Travis.
Yeah, it's a tough one because everyone with a camera is a photographer now, or now everyone with a TikTok's a videographer and making videos. And I was talking with an EP literally yesterday over coffee about how some of the younger generation, they don't even care about like production quality as much in terms of like these TikTok videos and things that are out in the world. And they're like, oh, we don't care that quality isn't as good. And so you lose, like, in a cinematography standpoint, some people don't care about that as much. And I think it's just about being so much tighter and so much stronger in your strategy, coming together with a unique idea, a unique point of view that's going to work really hard for that target consumer that brand is trying to chase, versus like I said at the beginning, like that easy button of, oh, let's just put something out there and it'll work, it'll go viral, or all the words that we hate hearing. Really making stuff as strategic as possible that makes other brands and other competition that your brand is competing against, have to chase you and have to start to be as smart as you are. And if everyone dives into that strategic and really leans into smart strategic work, that's going to just raise the bar for people.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think strategy is one of the areas that we're seeing people not wanting to pay for as much and not wanting to really dive into. They think they know a brand or they think they know a target and they're good to go. And so it's even figuring out, how do you co-create platforms with your client? How do you make the idea the creative that's valued the most? And then how do you tuck in how important, the other quality is to go with that idea? So again, it doesn't have to just be, we can shoot it on an iPhone. It'll be great. Trying to build in creative integrity into the idea, but getting them to understand the value at the very beginning.
It's so true. I mean, we talk about this all the time with our folks, like strategy. You have to bake it in because production's been commoditized, creativity has been commoditized, but the thinking around the strategy and why you're doing the creative execution is really the special sauce that all of us sell. Okay, I want to talk about costs. I want to talk about the cost of pitching how do you pay for it? Like, how do we play against the big boys? I worked at Goodby Silverstein and Partners for years and years and years. For a couple of years, I answered the new business phone and we would get calls. We one time worked on a car pitch that lasted a year, 12 months. 12 months. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a pitch that we didn't win. And if you read the trades, it's always full of pitches that have just picked a partner after a 6-month review or a 9-month review. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can't go 9 months on spec work, not paying people on a wing and a prayer. I don't have a holding company sugar daddy who can pay my bills during that time. Well, what do we do? How do we play, Leslie?
I mean, I'm literally, with my design partner, it's basically, she and I saying, are we going to give up this time? Or, with my strategy people, are you willing to give up your time for this to get this up and running and to set it up? Again, we're not giving execution and we're not giving free work, but we are giving of our time to set it up. And honestly, if it were to go beyond that, I am not independently vastly wealthy that I can make something like that happen. I would still be working in a big agency if I was into that. It's just, again, back to this human being honest and getting rid of all the bullshit. Like, I can't play that game and I won't.
Travis, you want to fight though. You're willing to take a flyer no matter how much it costs, right?
Well, maybe not no matter how much it costs. But similar to Leslie, like, we see time as an opportunity cost. So if we're going to do it strictly in-house, and we're small as well, but if we're going to do it strictly in-house, we see that time as, time for an opportunity to, bring in a new client, bring in new business, and, grow the team. And so we're willing to create work in there. And then when it comes to needing to bring in more resources, we're actually currently in a pitch as we speak, and we're bringing in some additional resources for that. But we're really aligned with the client that we're pitching. We think that they have a really good opportunity to break through in the category that they're at and really have an opportunity to stand out. And because of that, we're willing to invest in it and, hopefully win. We have a 33% chance of winning. Pretty much every pitch is roughly that. And if we can pull that off because of our smart thinking and alignment with the potential clients, then, that investment will be well worth the reward.
It is true. I mean, if you do win, it can be transformative for a small agency when you get those opportunities. All right, a question coming in. We're close to our 30 minutes. We're going to go a little bit longer because it's a good conversation and we like talking about this stuff. Any brands or CMOs that are good to work with on stuff like this, that understand the process well? Any come to mind? Are we going to name drop anybody? No, because all these indie agencies are going to call that CMO.
Exactly.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say that I think in terms of deciding whether to play or not, the relationships are key, right?
Yep.
And so if you know somebody on the brand side, or you've worked with that CMO or that brand manager before, or they have a reputation, it does give you, that becomes one of the criteria that you can check off that say, hey, this might be worth our time. But I feel like the big brand name CMOs that everybody's talking about, are they really looking at the small folks? No, they're looking for the Tiffany agencies that are always in the pages of the ad trades, right?
Yeah, or Greg Kahn, which they're great. Mischief is fantastic, and they make great work. And so that's that's where we would love to be. I'm sure that's where we'd all love to be, where you're just picking up the phone and deciding if you want it or not. But I think that Leslie, you were mentioning this before. It's really about relationships, and I think that's where indie agencies are going to start to thrive more and more, because you're dealing with real people. Not that you're dealing with real people, that you're not dealing with real people with the big agencies and the holding company agencies, but these real people, this is they own it. Everything that happens in that is their success or their failure, and there's no one going to scoop them up and save them. So I think with that, I think big clients are going to start to, Mischief is bringing in big clients, and they're going to, and I know they're partly owned by No Fixed Address. I don't know how that all works, and if there's a holding company involved in that or not. However, I think you're going to start to see big brands come to indie agencies because of that relationship building factor. And hopefully that's where we're going to start to see a shift.
Well, and I think that it becomes that much more important for indie agencies as well to know who they are and to be able to define that, or to share a unique process, or to share an approach that feels very real to them. Because if you're not giving away work and it's not just a pitch based upon what you presented in front of them, then it's a pitch based upon relationships, as you were just saying, and it's a pitch based upon what is the unique offering that you're bringing. And again, there's only so many ways we can say the same, 5 steps to get to good creative or whatever, but just know who you are a little bit, so that when you get in front of these people and explain, this is who I am, this is how I do it, and put yourself at the same sort of level playing field, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's why. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Travis.
I was going to say, and I think that's why we're open to sharing creative, because as you build that relationship, they don't necessarily know you from Adam. And so by giving them that sneak peek into the work and saying, hey, this is how we think about it, then they can start to see the legitimacy of your shop versus just what you can say on the website.
Yeah, the other thing I would say is I think indie agencies, we need to stop always chasing the same 10 brands that all the big agencies are chasing as well. There's a lot of companies that need our help that are not Target and Chevrolet and all of these big brands. We just did a campaign for a regional law firm, which sounds like a terrible brief, right? It was amazing. They were some of the best clients that I've ever had. They wanted to do groundbreaking work. We created something that the category hadn't seen before. And they were not a CMO that was on anybody's radar. So
right.
I think a lot of times we don't have to play that same game, and we can bring that big agency thinking to clients who haven't been able to afford that type of service until the explosion of the indie agency community.
100%.
Yep. We like to say we democratize world-class creative so that we can bring it to people like law firms. We haven't done that yet, but would love to. That'd be amazing.
Great. Okay, from Josh. Hey, Josh, how you doing? Good. Thanks for joining. I know Josh. Basic question from word of mouth, first degree connection purist here. The RFPs your small agencies are deciding to or not participate in, are those coming to you more via consultants or more via services you subscribe to? Especially interested in the sourcing of the RFPs that have either led to a win or to John's 10-10-10 hybrid, or event to the kind of valuable conversion that Leslie mentioned early on. Conversation, Leslie.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, so mine, our RFPs have come through contacts or connections that we've had, which have then led into somebody moving to a different company, which have led into God knows I've had plenty of outreach about this. So I would love to know anybody else's experience, to be honest, about I can get you 10 calls and, for 15 new business or whatever. We haven't done that. We've been fortunate enough thus far to have had a couple connections and spread into a couple core industries that we've kind of focused on.
If I had a nickel for every email of the 10 to 15 calls that I could get, then I wouldn't need to chase any more RFPs. But similar, Leslie, a lot of ours are coming from tangential people who we've worked with in the past. So some are directly people we've worked with in the past and direct relationships we have. And then others are people that know those people who we don't necessarily know. And they reach out and say, hey, so-and-so said you guys are awesome, and we have an RFP coming out. We'd love to chat with you guys and see if it's a fit for us to include you guys. And so that's where a lot of them have come from. Have gotten zero from consultancies. One. We've gotten one from consultancies, and we did not win that one. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. I mean, everything we've gotten has been from past connections, clients we've worked with before, creatives that have or referrals from past clients, other folks that have worked with us or our team and referred us to a potential opportunity. I don't believe there are any shortcuts. I don't believe anybody that's selling you all of these leads is going to actually deliver on that. So just my personal point of view.
I've had lots of conversations though with people who used to do biz dev at agencies that I worked at before. So it's not for not, kind of trying, we're going to try some other things. Again, not with the person that's going to get me 10 calls in 2 days, but we've done a lot of liquor recently.
Mhm.
And so we're trying to find some other, we've sort of backed ourselves into that's a bit of our niche. And so we want to expand it. And so, we've reached out to some people of just some strategies, and we're going to see what works.
Awesome. Okay, I think we have time for one more question, one more answer from each of us. So final thoughts, one sentence from each of us, words of wisdom for other indie agencies that are dealing with this RFP question. Travis, you want to go first?
Sure. The one thought final answer is know who you are and stick to who you are, and really be honest if it's the right opportunity for you. And then if it is, go after it full steam.
That sentence had some commas in it, my friend. Or maybe
M dashes.
Dashes. Dots.
Yeah.
I love it. Leslie?
I mean, my first instinct is to just say good luck. And then my second one is don't give it away free. I just think if we all as an industry decided not to give it away, then we would have to, then the people that are RFPing would have to really stop and think about us and think about what we offer from a capability.
I agree. Okay, here's my sentence. You are worth the lowest amount that you are willing to work for. And if that's 0, don't be surprised if you get taken advantage of.
Ooh.
There it is.
Well,
okay, we got to thank.
That's where I come in. Geez, that's deep.
We want to thank Doug. We want to thank Doug for letting us do this.
Oh, no. No, it's my pleasure. This was great. So, John, I wanted to bring up the Goodby thing. So the law firm that you worked with, The Work, and one of the things that I tell people is get the word just out of your vocabulary, because the work that you do for that local utility or that startup or that local thing, it's still great work. And so what I want to remind people is one of the things that got Jeff Goodby and Rich Silverstein on the map was a campaign for the Mill Valley Film Festival. So get the word just out of your vocabulary. This was great, everybody. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have follow-ups on this as well. We'll get a recap of this all posted a little bit later. Thank you to everybody who was participating live on LinkedIn. You three wave goodbye, and then I'm going to put you backstage. Don't hang up. This isn't a Zoom call. All right. All right, everyone. A reminder: the brief. Build a global home for independent agencies. The mission: serve independent agencies and the brilliant people behind them. The goal is more visibility for indies and more choice for marketers. To learn more about the benefits of membership, go to indieagency.news. I'm Doug Zanger. Thank you all so much for joining us as I almost cough into your ear. Oh, my God. I still have that cold from Amsterdam. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.